Welcome to Breaking Bread, hosted by me, Crunk Chocolate, a show where we break verbal bread with a quote-unquote enemy. Whenever Manchester City has an upcoming match, I will be here having a conversation with a supporter of City's upcoming opponent. Shout out to everyone who will get this full episode, you lovely Patreon members, you. But for the people enjoying the first 15 minutes on YouTube, subscribe if this is your first time. We do more than just Man City content. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe if you're audio only journey on Spotify. I was about to say Google Podcast. That's not a thing anymore. Apple Podcasts, any podcasting platform service, if they allow it, rate us 5 stars, give us 10 out of 10, 35 gold stars, whatever their process is. Do it to the max, say some nice things. We appreciate that. If you want to enjoy the full episode, subscribe to our $6 tier Patreon. Plenty of episodes, fantastic guests. We just had an amazing episode, was up at 5 a.m. to do this recording because they're in England. Amazing guests we'll be announcing soon. We're keeping it kind of hush. But if you're a fan of our Baby Blue Baddies, you'll be excited. But today we are here to talk City, traveling to beautiful, beachy Brighton. It's going to be a good time, hopefully. And by that, I mean a victory. But we will see how our guest is feeling about Brighton. They have some odd stats. They've moved on, typical Brighton fashion, getting rid of a key contributor through a large money transfer. Who's the next one up? Who are the people who are doing it now? We will find out. Thanks. Joe about the NFS. Shout out to them too. How's it going, sir? How are you?
Yeah, no, feeling good, mate. It's not been the easiest of starts to the Premier League season for Brighton. It's been our worst ever start since our promotion season way back in 2017. So there's a little stat for you to make you feel maybe a bit more positive about the weekend. But yeah, no, it's I'm feeling relatively positive after yesterday. Obviously, we played in the Carabao Cup against Championship opposition in Oxford, and we scored 6 goals. So this squad can score goals, but can we score goals in the Premier League? That's the thing. Without João Pedro, as you mentioned, the big high profile sale this summer. It's looking pretty light up top at the moment, and I'm hoping that Stefanos Tsimas can come in, who scored a brace yesterday, and maybe put a little bit of pressure on Danny Welbeck, who looks a little bit off pace at the moment.
I know the whole Danny Welbeck thing. He's been rejuvenated through his time at Brighton. It's been really fun to see, and I feel like people have been kind of waiting for that fall off, and I'm just hoping that it's a slow start to the season because I do root for him, especially now that he's away from the teams that he has played for. I very much enjoy him at Brighton because the vibes are all positive. You always give us trouble when we play Brighton. I was at the match at the Etihad last season, the 2-2 draw. Well, that wasn't fun. I would have obviously preferred, after doing all that travel, seeing City win. But it was a good match, and I got to see a Haaland PK. That was cool.
There you go. Yeah, it was a difficult match last time out. I think it was our first ever point at the Etihad as well. So Fabian Hertzler is certainly well versed in getting something away from a Pep Guardiola side. Obviously, beating you at the Amex last season as well. So hoping for a repeat there. But yeah, what a game at the Etihad. I think we had chances to win that game.
Oh, most definitely.
Minte jumped over the ball. There was a few Jack Hinchelwood chances that went amiss. So yeah, we were gutted to not come away from the Etihad with 3 points, which is a weird thing to say as a Brighton fan. I know we've been relatively successful in the last few years getting European football, but from where this club has come from, even to still be sat here talking to a Man City fan about a Brighton Premier League game is still pretty special to us. So just looking forward to it and hoping in prime British pessimism ways that you don't thump us 6-0.
Well, we're on similar wavelengths. Last season was a rough one for us. Oh, fourth place, third place. That's where I am. I'm just like, did we win?
Bless you for getting Champions League football again.
Oh, the world is so tough. And everything felt great. The vibes were positive. Going out in the first round of the Club World Cup was okay because it's Club World Cup. Like, who cares about that? Got the club a little bit of money. Players weren't ran into the ground. They were able to leave for a few weeks and have some sort of time off. That was nice. Handle Wolves. We're not quite feeling ourselves, but we were feeling good about the result. We know it's Wolves. We know they're not great, but hey, we saw some things we loved, and then getting shut out at home against Tottenham in the way that they did, it was quite the humbling experience. City fans, obviously, you're always going to back your club, but because of last year, and there were still some problems that were pretty obvious to see. I'm hopeful. I don't know what to expect nowadays with this club. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I think Spurs have had a relatively okay time coming to the Etihad recently. Maybe there's only been a few City wins that I can remember. And Thomas Frank is a fantastic manager, and he seems to have his philosophy brought to those players very quickly, and they've really taken to the way he coaches his sides. And Brentford were successful at your ground last season, if I remember correctly. So again, it's a manager that is well versed in maybe out pepping Pep. Hopefully that continues for us, but we'll see.
Sure. Well, let's give you a moment to big up your team, to say some positive things. We start off with, why do you love your club, or what's a good attribute or a reason to love the club?
Yeah, our football club is a fantastic community. It always has been. This club has been through a lot in the past. I don't know if fans of your show are aware of Brighton's history, but 28 years ago, 28 years ago, this club was 1 goal and 1 point away from not existing anymore. And we somehow survived on the final day. We stayed up. We wouldn't have had a ground. Our owner sold our ground. We had to drive. In American terms, it's not that far, but we had to drive 45 miles one way to a home game and then 45 miles back. And we played at an athletics track for 10 years. So this club has been through the absolute ringer, and fans of the older generation, as I say, are just here to enjoy the battle of keeping this football club alive. And that's what is so rich in our history. And people talk about, you're little old Brighton, you don't have a history, you've never won a major trophy. But actually, the most important thing about football for me is community and is family. My family all support Brighton. So it's in my blood. It runs through us. And we don't care if we're competing in League One. We don't care if we're competing in the Europa League. It's our club, and it will always forever be our club. So that's sort of the thing that I like to talk to Big Six fans about, is the fact that it's not all about trophies. It's not all about success and winning the Champions League every year. Football's about so much more. And that's why this club is special. And that's why a lot of other sort of clubs of a smaller stature or the same stature as us are so special. We keep the football pyramid running. If it wasn't for Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth, Man City would have no one to beat. Man City would have no one to win their trophies against. So we all hold our place in the circle of football life, and we're very happy with our status in that.
Oh, that was nice. I guess for my next question, just even you mentioning that the club was a goal away from never existing, it almost, and to me it answers my next question. I always talk about how ROI focused Brighton is. Like, give us that player, we will buy, we'll bring you in 10, 15 million and give us 3 years. For some reason, some poor sucker is going to pay us 100 million for him. And that's brilliant on you. But I think it's like, bro, what if they had like Caicedo next to Baliba right now? Like, what if they had like these players that are key to other clubs, and just like, what if they just held on to like 2 players for a couple more years? What could they do? Could they really? But also, when you're so close to disbanding and finances become everything, it's better safe than be sorry and just enjoy the life.
I think something that our CEO said at a fans forum recently is he said that the club is very aware of what these fans have been through. I mean, our chairman is a fan himself. He saw the dark days, and the fact of how well our club is run in terms of business-wise and selling players on for so much, it means that this club will never be put in that position ever again. And they're very conscious of that, and that we have to build sustainably towards that success. It gets frustrating sometimes as a fan because you don't know if you can fall in love with a player, because if they do well, you know that Chelsea are going to come knocking for £100 million again. And it's not a nice experience because Balaba's been spoken about going to Man United this transfer window. Looks as though we're going to keep him. So maybe that tide is starting to turn. Karu Matoma has said that he's committing his long-term future to the club. We're trying to convince Jan-Paul Van Hecker to try and get him down on a new contract. So whilst you can look back at Alexis McAllister, Moises Caicedo, Cucurella, João Pedro, if we had all of those in the team at the moment, I would have no doubt in my mind that we could qualify for Champions League football. That is an unbelievable squad. Ben White, who I failed to mention as well, unbelievable player. So yeah, there is frustration that way, but the players that we're bringing through, the youngsters we have coming up, they can be that good as well. Our recruitment is so good at picking out gems from an algorithm that people aren't looking at. And then suddenly, you're talking about Brian Gruder, we're talking about Diego Gomez, who you guys would have seen in the MLS. And as I said, they can be as good as what we've sold. It's just about getting them there and then making that next step to be able to keep them at some point. But the key to that is getting European football. That is the perfect thing to sell these players. If we don't have European football next year, Baleba will go, Jan-Paul Van Hecker will go. So it's a vicious cycle, really. And we just have to be lucky in succeeding so we can sell them that.
Wow. I mean, great answer. It's always interesting to every single time I find a new player, right, that I enjoy, they end up going to a club that I dislike, like Chelsea, and it's like, oh dang, this player is fun. Except for Cucurella, he was even tied to City at one point in time, and I was like, goodness no, please no. But Baleba is. I watched him at that Brighton game. Like, he himself stressed the entire City team out that day, and he's such a good player. Wouldn't mind seeing him at City. Like him next to Rodri would be insane. And it's got a very good squad, but we can keep it moving and talk about this manager. I'm not gonna lie, because of even you do you treat your managers almost like the players, kind of go through guys, but also they experience success at Brighton and then they go elsewhere or things like that. I'm aware of Fabian, but I'm not the most familiar with him like I was De Zerbi or even Graham Potter. But really, I think the noise about Graham Potter was while Brighton, they were at their heights, I was just going to hear about him whether I wanted to or not. So he was a super trendy person right now. And then De Zerbi was quirky, so I enjoyed him. Herzler, he just kind of